Hi writers, my name is Jean Nicole Rivers and I am the founder of Simply Stylus writing software. This is Lauder, my baby. Anyway, I'm also an award-winning novelist and I've written 2 psychological horror novels, Blackwater Tales, The Secret Keepers, and Blackwater Tales, The Unwanted, along with countless other pieces of flash fiction and short stories that you can read on my website at www.jeannicolerivers.com. So now that you have brainstormed and outlined your novel, it's time to start writing your rough draft. Now remember that the advice that I give in these videos is not a brilliant, only one way magic formula that will make you the next Anne Rice. It's simply me sharing the way that I think about and the way that I write my novels in hopes that some of the information will help you be able to start and complete your novel. So when I do my rough draft, it's almost like a free writing session. I put my outline next to the computer and I go through and elaborate through all of the bullet points that I have on my outline. Do not overthink your rough draft. Baby, I'm doing one right now, okay? Do not overthink your rough draft. This is not the point where you want to try and write, Toni Morrison worthy prose or magnificent Stephen King style sentences. This is the point in which you just want to be able to get the story down in full, beginning, middle, and end. Also, you want to get the full elaborated story, but don't feel like nothing else can happen. Like you can't add or delete anything as you continue to work through the story, or that it can't grow organically as you're writing. It can, but just focus on getting everything down at this point. So now you want to pull out your outline as a reference here. If you need help creating your outline, go back to our last video that we made, which is all about writing your outline. And if you remember, your outline is a series of bullet points that takes us through the main action of the story from beginning, middle to end. Those bullet points are the bones of your story. So now this rough draft is kind of where you add the meat of the story. So for every bullet point, you are going to elaborate that point, and you're going to elaborate all of the transitions between those points. You're going to elaborate the beginning, you're going to elaborate all those bullet points, and then you're going to elaborate all of the transitions between those bullet points. Don't get caught up on minor character or plot issues. You can always come back to these. Now, if you're going through writing your rough draft and you realize you've got some major plot issues or some major character issues, then yes, you want to stop and you want to go back to your outline and you kind of want to focus on that and rewrite there. But if they're minor issues, just keep going. You can always circle back and fix those. Once you've completed your rough draft, you pretty much have a book. Congratulations, or at least that's how I like to think about it. There's still a lot of work to be done and there's still a lot of work ahead, but that's a huge accomplishment and it needs to be celebrated. So a lot of people ask me, how long does it take? It depends. I know that's not the answer that a lot of people want to hear. People want to hear you say, oh, it takes a week or it takes 4 weeks, but that's just not the case. I have a full-time job, I have a home, I have a toddler, etc. So it usually takes me about 6 weeks to complete my rough draft around everything else I have going on in my life. If you have more or less things going on, then it may take you more or less time. How long should my rough draft be? Again, this is a depends question. It depends on your story, and it depends on how much is happening in your story. My rough draft usually ends up being about 80 to 100 pages, and my final novel, after rewrites and editing, is usually approximately 300 pages. So it will definitely grow from this rough draft position. So when you get finished with your rough draft and it's a little skimpy, don't get discouraged. You've got a lot more work to do on it to build it up. So now that I've written my rough draft, what's next? First, you take a break. You've been brainstorming, outlining, and drafting for a while. So at this point, you just want to put your manuscript away and not think about it, or try not to think about it, for at least 2 weeks. Even better, 4 weeks. You don't want to put it away for too long, but the longer you put it away, the more clear things are going to be when you come back to the story to start your rewriting. Then we move on. Now we're on to rewriting and your style sheet, which we'll be talking about in our next video, which will be released next week, so stay tuned for that. So let's recap. First, you want to use your outline as a guide for your rough draft. Put that outline right next to your computer or right up on a second screen while you're writing. You want to take on a somewhat free writing technique. You don't want to get bogged down. You just kind of want to power through your rough draft. Elaborate all the points in your rough draft from beginning, middle to end. Don't overthink it. Don't get caught up. Just keep going. Put your completed rough draft away for at least 2 weeks and get your mind right for rewriting. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share. If you're ready to start your writing journey, head on over to www.simplystylus.com. Also, if you want to stay in the Simply Writing loop, snag your spot on our email list and immediately download your free copy of our quick guide on writing compelling book blurbs that make readers choose your book. Or join our supportive Facebook community of writers in our Simply Writing Facebook group and download your checklist for creating killer book titles with the links provided below. Your story starts here.